Hey everyone, Warwick's here. So we're back. So it's a little bit of a weird time. Like the New Year's is always kind of a slower time for like reactions to the groups that I enjoy reacting to coming out because obviously they're taking some much needed time away from their projects or they have other stuff in the works and they're not necessarily putting out anything. They're in that like downtime where you're creating but not doing something like product wise. Um, Trust me, even as a video creator, we're there. I've had times where I've sat down and recorded videos and then I sit on them for quite a while. So I mentioned this in the community posts. If you're not there, check those out. I try to give updates as best I can through the community posts about this YouTube channel. I've decided that I want to branch out a little bit into what I react to away from just the acapella stuff, voice play and Jeff and the bass gang, all those guys. None of that is going anywhere. It's just I'm just trying to do a little bit more. Um, I'd set some New Year's resolutions. I mentioned three of them in my YouTube shorts. Go check those out if you haven't. Where I want to stream 500 hours, stabilize my income, and lose 25 pounds. But made a list of like 8 things that I want to do this year. A couple of them I'm keeping very private, but one of them that I didn't mention in that short because of time was that I just want to be more consistent with putting out content. Like I want, you know, whether it's a short a day or a video a week, I want to try to be consistent. The joke that I make is I want my number of videos posted to pass the number of subscribers that I have on this channel. So I'm in a race of, kind of unofficially. Um, so that's one of the goals. So that means, like, to me, that's going to mean more reaction content. And I'm trying to branch into different styles of music so that I can have some fun with this in ways that I still enjoy doing the voice play and the Jeff covers and stuff like that. But this is just going to add something new that kind of keeps things fresh and makes me go back and appreciate like the I guess the simpler times, I guess, so to speak, when I was just doing like acapella stuff. Um, so this is very much a test case. So just let me know what you think on this. Obviously, as you can see, I'm on camera with my face with these reaction videos. This is not changing. So I'm kind of like a mix of a IRL reactor in a lot of ways. Like it's basically only going to be used for music reactions. I will be doing reactions to non-music content, but it's going to be with the PNG tuber model. My shorts also have that PNG tuber model, but that's mainly there for just a visual purpose. Most of my shorts I'm trying, unless they're gameplay clips, I'm trying to make more about the words and the messaging being the most important part. So even if you don't like necessarily the animated model aspect of things, I'm not asking you to look at the model. I'm just asking you to listen to what it is that I'm saying in the shorts, um, and go and give those some support as well. So enough housekeeping stuff. For those that have never seen one of my videos before, welcome in. Thank you for clicking on this. For those of you that are veterans of my channel, welcome back. It's good to see you. My name is Warwick. I go by that on all the social channels. Um, I was a percussionist in high school, so vocal percussion and anything drum related, I'm always going to be intrigued by, even though I haven't picked up a set of sticks in probably 15 years at this point. Um, I've done obviously a lot of bass singer reactions and stuff like that, but branching out a little bit into this. So the way that I do my videos, if you've never seen them, is that I will watch this video once through entirely, no pausing, and just allows you to see my face here on the bottom left of your screen reacting to whatever it is I'm about to hear. Um, and then I do a second listen through while I'll pause and stop and talk about the things that I think are cool or interesting. So that's how I structure my videos if you've never seen one of mine before. So today's video is Dopamine. This is a beatboxing. This is by Wing, who my understanding is like an Asian champion and one of the most well-respected and by many considered the best beatboxer in the world right now. So I'm very curious to see what this is going to bring along here. So thank you for sticking through this housekeeping little section here and the quick intro that I do in all these videos. But because I'm kind of starting off this new year with a big shift, I'm probably going to be doing some of these housekeeping items quite a bit in these videos in the future. So just FYI, that's why I chapter these things out as best I can so that you can skip them if you choose to. So without further ado, let's get into this. This is Dopamine by Wing. Let's get into this beatboxing world.
the brain's motivation neurotransmitter, dopamine. 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 Dopamine now. Can you feel it now? Check it. Dopamine.
Ho, 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 ho. All right. That, oh my God. Okay. I see why people said to check this guy out when I started hitting up people for Beatboxer recommendations. Obviously composed and arranged by Wing. Um, cool stuff. Very, very cool. Dude, this is the first foray into it. I'm very excited to get into more of this. There were a lot of things that I thought were really, really freaking cool with this. Obviously, it's in a very EDM style. Most beatboxing tends to be that way, especially with all the throat bass that he was doing. Which I mean, EDM is my favorite, not video game music sound genre. So like, I'm definitely hitting all the right notes in my opinion on this. Like, I'm loving everything that I hear. So very much like enjoy that style of music. So this is going to hit me probably in ways that it won't hit a lot of other people that don't enjoy EDM, deep house, bass, dubstep, some mixes in there, a little bit of trap is in there. There's a lot of different little styles that obviously took inspiration from, and I can see why this guy is considered one of, if not in many people's estimation, one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world. So very, very cool stuff. Let's go diving into this a little bit further, huh? So this like very start here where he does like these like trumpet sounds, this like obviously does a lot with vibrating his lips, and mostly it's something that I've messed around with while like singing with my son in the car when we listen to like we were listening to, God, what was it? Hunt the Sky. That one, Big Iron, Unshaken, those have been like his favorites that he likes to listen to. But even I was messing with it, and you have to get be hydrated for this. Stuff like that. Like, it's really cool, and then he can hold like this really nice sustained note that is not coming from, I mean, it's vocal, it's singing in a way, but it's not, but because of the way he's holding his mouth, it's almost like he's listening to like a trumpet with a mute inside of it, which you've ever watched concert trumpists or marching band trumpists, you'll see it every now and then. You can hear him trying to, even working to get to those notes with the like the air coming out as he rises up to that note, which is pretty cool. This to me is one of the most impressive things that happens in the first 30 is the most impressive thing that happens in the first 30 seconds of the video because like to be able to I mean even hitting a note like attacking a note and then dropping it down and going into staccato takes like immense breath control. It's very easy on like drums because you just one hand hits hard, the other one goes soft, and then you just have to have enough finger control to make your right. Like if you attack, most people attack with right hand. You attack the note with your right hand, and then you finger control yourself down, and then you build up and go more and more intense. With breath control and using music notes, in particular like with musical instruments, and in this case beatboxing, it's like the level of breath control like is really really tight. That has to be done in order to make that sound as good as it did here.
The brain's motivation neurotransmitter. Dopamine.
So that right there, like I find it interesting. I wasn't expecting the English out of him, but okay, cool. I would love to. I need to learn another language. Like I just want to make myself smarter and learn another language. Um, from what I understand, most clips start with him just saying dopamine and then drops right into this thing right here at the beginning. So like these first 35 seconds or so is something that I've never, like nobody's ever pointed out was actually part of the official song. You can see him right here, like right here in this part of the camera. Let me make sure. Yep. Okay. Right here, you can see all the work that the back of his tongue and his throat is doing. Like I can't even mimic it because I don't have the skill for it. I'm not going to be able to mimic a ton of these techniques. But he's doing a lot of work, and the vibe that I got just from the like listening to it the first time was like this was something that would come straight out of like a Fast and Furious movie. Like if this were the opening track to like the next Fast and the Furious movie, if they're even making a new one, it like wouldn't shock me at all.
Dopamine.
And to be able to so like cleanly cut off everything, dopamine, and then drop right into it on the next beat, like again, like his control over his jaw and his control over his tongue is like insane. And then of course we get this fat note here at the bottom. I don't even know if it's like a note, but it's the first example of throat bass that he's going to drop in here, which has a ton of it. Yeah, like I can't even mimic it trying to like throat sing it. Outside of that though, like a lot of the other stuff he's doing feels like basic, which is I think kind of the point is he builds up as some of the stuff he does later in this track is insane. So here we're getting something that's like very basic to start with. Like his drum stuff is simple. It's 4 to the floor. Doom ga doom ga. What makes this part impressive in ways is that he's also throwing in these synth sounds that he's making with the back of his throat and with while doing the doom ga doom ga. Like again, it's like I'm trying to think of the word. I can't think of it. Whatever. Multitasking. That's what it is. The multitasking that he's doing in that moment, like I said, like if you really watch his jawline and watch his upper throat here, like right in here, you'll see just how much work it's doing. And you can see how he has to, when he hits those thick, what would most likely be subharmonics in like a bass singing throat technique. You can see how much he's opening his throat and how much his larynx is having to open and drop in order to make that happen. And it's really cool to just watch it physically up close. Like I would love to be able to like see inside of what's going on and just watch what's going on inside. I don't think it'd be possible without ruining the quality of what we're getting. I'm sure there's probably been somebody that puts out a video somewhere that's showing that stuff. If you have, let me know. Link it below or send me whoever made it. But I would love to be able to see like what's going on inside of his mouth, because I think it would be almost as interesting to watch as listening to what it, what the final product is. Right there, you see where he, let's see if I can pinpoint it. Right here, you can see he pulls back his lips. He opens up his chin, does this kind of thing with it instead of like keeping it nice and tight. Even pushing it forward in some ways. He's pushing his chin back, doing this with it, and then dropping it while pushing his lips back as well so that he can get that specific sound that he's looking for. And you can see his whole jaw, including his eyes, like everything gets, he pulls like his whole face back, almost like he's in a hurricane tunnel almost here with that. And it's also, he can make that type sound. Like just in that one little thing, like there's an insane amount of technique that I think is going into that, or at least a lot of muscle control that you could see on the face.
Dopamine.
You can see the same thing, that like it's almost like the sound that he's making there, that when he pulls all of those muscles back, what it does is it closes up the space, and so it makes everything sound distorted in a way that's different from what he's doing, like right here where you can see everything is forward. You can see his lips are forward, his jaw is forward, I'm sure his tongue position is probably pushed somewhere up in here, or hitting off the side of his teeth in order to make that snare sound. Or he's pushing air out the side of his mouth in order to make it. So there's lots of things that he's doing, but like when he pulls it back like that, it adds like a muted distortion to it, which is intentional, and I think very, very cool. Yeah, you see it multiple times here, or you can see he pulls everything back so tightly in order to get that sound. And that right there, I'm gonna see if I can even try it. I can't even do it like in big something like that. Except he doesn't move his lips all that much in order to make the sound. He just has insane tongue control is what is going on there. And like any good artist, he sings with his hands. Cool.
Dopamine.
Yeah, so right there, hard to tell with the microphone in the way, but you can kind of see it when he makes this like very open throat basing sound. You can see forming, like you could tell just through these muscle positionings that he's forming a circle here, but you can tell his throat, if you could see, if they did a close up, like they shot it from this angle, you'd see that right around here would be vibrating like crazy, because he's basically pushing his tongue as far back into his mouth as he can go, trying to limit the amount of space that the air goes through so that he gets that specific sound out. But his vocal cords right now are probably vibrating 1,000,000 miles a minute, or 1 mile, not even a mile a minute, like 0.1 mile a minute. So that way you can get that like reverby deep bass. Really, really interesting stuff. Like I said, I'd love to, they kind of did him a little dirty from a being able to watch his technique standpoint with the zoomed out camera, and like the angle just makes it so that the microphone covers up everything, but it still sounds amazing.
Dopamine now. Can you feel it now?
Yeah, there's a little bit better angle. You see just how much his jaw is lowering, right?
Can you feel it now?
Right there. You see how deep his jaw is. Like you can see how much space he's creating to allow for that circle to be formed. And he's got his, face pushed up right up against it, because I'm sure they obviously have super super high end quality mics, but even this mic sometimes struggles. Like I've done some messing around, like bass singing. Quick tangent, apologies. On my Twitch channel, if I get to, I think it's either 25 or 30 subscribers, whatever I set my goal to, I was going to do a short of me singing a Jeff song, with just like, playing it through my phone and doing that. And I've been messing with the idea of it. And like this mic, unless I turn off all of my filters, like does not catch some of the lower stuff. So I'm sure this mic does that, but he has to be in real close. And you've seen it in some of the old like voice play videos with Jeff. Back when like the Earl days, when you watch that stuff, and sometimes he's just like right here up against this mic, and it's so that the mic picks up everything because microphones aren't good at picking up low sounds, which is kind of wild. And I'm whispering so that I don't blow your ears out right now. So like you can see that like, you have to get real close in, but in some ways it's unfortunate because it distorts like what you see just the work. I mean, you can see like he's elongated his face as much as he can in order to get that sound, and he's doing it for a split second essentially. Like the control is, again, the muscle control is ridiculous. And you can see right here as we go from that more pulled back, like I would say, like again in singing comparison, he went from doing ums to where like you hear it like in Misty Mountains, very pulled back, and then you hear like opens up a lot more. You can see that in his mouth positioning too. Here he's opening up that bass in order for it to have more room to go through, and it produces a very different kind of in the South we call it twang to it. Check it. I love that when you see right here. Oh, missed it. Can I go back a second? Yeah, right here. So you can see he's doing a lot to move, like again, in order to make that specific sound, he's basically moving everything out to one side of it, like to this side of his mouth that's hidden by the microphone. So he's taken his jaw and he's shifted it to the left, like this. And he's pulled in his cheeks so that he can kind of force everything out to one side. It's really, really cool. And his head motion mimics that, because he knows when the sound stops coming out this side, he's got to adjust a little bit because he knows the other sound just naturally is going to come out the other side of his mouth. And so you can see that's when he does that. And he turns it into a form of choreography because this guy's obviously super talented and super intelligent about what he's doing. So it looks more natural, but there's a reason for it. I think there's a technique. My belief is that there's a technique reason for it. Again, just insanity. Oh, and then he goes back up. Oh my God, this is so cool. Okay, I kind of missed that the first time, probably because my brain was melting. I love this in a weird way, actually. It's hard to see from this camera angle exactly kind of how he's positioning himself so that he can achieve that. But again, you can kind of see below his jawline in this shadow here just how much work the lower end of his tongue is doing, and how much he's controlling his vocal cords and like opening and closing up things to make the sounds. A lot more breathiness here too. So this is probably his point where he's trying to get as much air as humanly possible, knowing that he's about to hit like a big ending.
Dopamine.
I love that he takes like a moment that he needs to breathe and turns it into like a cool thing. In this case, he breathes in like almost from his throat. Like I breathed out there to do that, but like he has a way of like almost like an inhale technique that I know Tommy P has been doing from the Bass Gang, inhale bass singing. He's probably doing something similar to that, which allows him to get that air while not making it sound like this weird gap in this last little build. Yeah, this was just bangs. Absolutely bangs. I love it. Absolutely love it. Uh, yeah, no, I'll
How
definitely be
much
taking a
time did
look.
you spend meal
No,
prepping?
no, YouTube. I said pause. Um, by the way, if I get my income stable, YouTube Premium's becoming a thing because Jesus Christ. Um, so yeah, that is Dopamine from Wing. I absolutely adored that. Hey, you're getting double of me. We love this. Anyways, let me know what you think below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. As you can see, I'm gonna go watch this charismatic voice one with voice scientist. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna put that one on my list here. Um, Hi Elizabeth. So yeah, we'll close with Elizabeth on the screen. So yeah, tell me what you think below. Found this entertaining or interesting, kind of seeing someone that has like a very novice knowledge of beatboxing, so I can like point out some things, but obviously I'm not super into the techniques that are being used. I obviously have a lot to learn in that front. Same thing that I still have a lot to learn about like bass singing techniques because I obviously still can't ping notes. And I'm not someone that like you tell me to sing a B flat, I'm not gonna be able to do it. I have to have like a note reference, which is why like my singing thing would be with Jeff in my ears because he would be like my reference, for example. Um, Anyways, yeah, I know it's a little all over the place. Thank you for sticking with me through the housekeeping stuff at the beginning. Again, next couple of videos, probably going to hear a lot about that because I am trying to be more aggressive in how I advertise my content. So apologies ahead of time, but that is something that I'm trying just to see if it helps. So like, share, subscribe to this video, like, share, subscribe to everything that goes on with Dopamine and Wing, like, share, and subscribe to obviously my channel again. Go watch my shorts again. It has my PNG tuber model. I know many of you reaction fans don't necessarily care for it. You don't care about it rather. But it's more about the words that I'm saying. I'm doing some mental health uplifting stuff and just some random thoughts that I had. Like today's was about book reading and comprehension. I've got one coming up about Hollywood respecting the IPs of like video game and anime franchises that they're sucking money off of. And I've got a couple of others that as I stand in the shower usually and think about this stuff, I'll be like, oh, I'll just record a quick thought about it. On top of things like mental health clips. And then I'll be going through as I get time and clipping things from the video games that I play and stuff. So like shorts are going to be a big thing this year. I'm going to try to do more on the reaction front for both music side and non-music side, if you care about that. And then, of course, the gaming stuff is starting to step up. I'm back streaming 2 hours after I record this. Finishing up Dispatch, which is an amazing game that I recommend you go play. The scuffed stuff aside with my stream, you can see the VODs of that, for example, on my channel if you want to get an idea of what that game looks like. So until the next video, hope you all stay safe. Hope you enjoy yourself. You're having fun. You're listening to great music, and we'll see you next time.